Challenge Facebook page. All right, today's the moral of the story. Once upon a time, there was a father and a young daughter. And this young daughter, she was unhappy, miserable, felt that life wasn't fair, felt like the deck was always stacked against her, felt like, life was out to get her and that everybody had it so lucky, that it wasn't fair that she was having all these trials and tribulations. It wasn't fair that some people just seemed to have it all. That it was everyone's fault, gods, the universe, politicians, the random person on the street corner. They were all out to get her. And the dad, who was quite an accomplished chef, had grown weary of his daughter's unrelenting negative mindset about the world, and he figured out a way to perhaps explain it to her and bring to light some valuable life lessons that maybe she could take away from. And so one day the dad pulled his daughter up and sat her down on the kitchen counter, and as she sat there, she watched him begin to cook. He pulled out three pans and filled each of those pans with an equal amount of water. And he put each of those pans on the stovetop. And on each of those stovetop burners, he set the burners to the maximum heat so the water would begin to boil. And as he did this, he took in one burner, in one pot, he dropped in some potatoes. And another one, he placed some eggs. And in the third, he placed some coffee grounds. The coffee beans are the coffee grounds. You have to forgive me if I don't know the specifics of the coffee. And for those of you who are much more coffee connoisseurs, you can correct me at the end if I misrepresented the coffee and what it does and how it interacts with the boiling water. So he sits there and the daughter watches him. What's the point of this, Dad? What are you going to teach me with potatoes and eggs and coffee? What are you going to teach me with boiling water and pans on a stove? It's a waste of my time. And the dad tells her, just be patient. Give me a chance. About 20 minutes goes by and everything's boiled, and so the dad turns them off and he carefully takes the potatoes out of the one pot of boiling water and places them in a bowl. He carefully takes the eggs out of another one and he places them in the bowl. And carefully takes the coffee out, filters it out, and pours it into a cup. And then he asks his daughter, he says, what do you see? And she kind of looks and says, what do you mean I see potatoes, I see eggs, I see coffee. What is this, Dad? This is stupid. Why the hell you got me sitting here watching this? And the dad says, look closer. He said, look closer. But this time, touch them. So the daughter looks closer at the potatoes. She kind of leans in really close to see if there's anything there, something she's missing. And she touches the one potato. And she realizes it's gotten soft. And then she goes and touches the egg. And she realizes it's gotten hard. And the dad cracks it open for her and sees that where once would have been a runny yolk was now this hard shell, or rather hardened thing to protect the yolk inside. And then she looked in the coffee, and as she peered over it, she smelt the aroma coming up from the water from the cup. And realized that the grounds had turned into this magical liquid that left this intoxicating aroma inside of her. And she looked at her dad with this kind of inquisitive look on her face. And the dad looked at her and said, each of these three things, the potatoes, the eggs, the coffee, they all endured the same hardship. They all went into the same kind of pot. They all had the same amount of water in them. They all were in boiling water, and they all boiled for an equal amount of time. They all endured a hardship. Yet how each one of these reacted to their hardship was dramatically different. The potato came out soft from the hardship. It went in rugged and firm, and it came out soft and mushy. The egg went in fragile and delicate, could have been broken at the slightest little crack, and came out with a tough shell that had molded around to protect the interior. And the coffee went in as grounds or beans or however coffee goes in, and came out transformed as this aroma and filled liquid. And the dad looks at his daughter and says, it's not what happens that matters. It's how we respond to what happens that matters. How we respond to what happens, that's what matters. The daughter looked at her dad and said, kind of nodded and took it in. And she says, Dad, I think I understand. She said, I think I understand it now. And his dad looked at the daughter and he said, well, what's the moral of the story? And now I invite all of you. What's the moral of the story? What are your takeaways from this? Please share it below. I have a few minutes. We have about 5 or 6 minutes before I have to run. So I would love to hear. This is where you interact. What's the moral of the story? What are you taking away from this today? What life lesson have you learned? What are you taking away? Just the fact that I don't know much about coffee. What do you want to share with everyone today? Please share. Do not be shy. I would love to take some time to read your thoughts. What's the moral of the story? Did you like it? I see a couple like little faint hearts on Periscope. So a couple people liked it. Oh, I see more on Periscope. Periscope saw me call them out. Now the thumbs are going. What's the moral of the story? We all go through things, but it's how we deal with it that matters. I like that. I like that. Maybe don't always look at the bad, but find the good in the bad. Oh, I like that. Don't always look at the bad, but find the good in the bad. Regardless of what happens to us, whatever hardships we endure, we can choose how we react to it. We can't always control what happens to us, but we are always in control of our reactions. I like that. Oh, Periscope, I saw one pop up and I missed it. I'm sorry. If you want to go ahead and repost that. As far as I heard, the moral of the story, our behaviors matter when situations are odd. I like that. Moral of the story, even though you are all on this earth together, we all have the opportunities to see our own perspective. I like that. Some good ones on here. See, this is why we should have sharing time after this. You guys have some really awesome insights. And Periscope, I'm sorry it's a little rocky. I was trying to read what the Facebook comments were. Very inspiring. Good. I'm happy that it wasn't, Maxine. We can't change the outcome of things, but we can always change how we feel. Oh, I like that. Very wise. I like that. Going through things is how we grow and learn. If we didn't, we wouldn't become who we are in the end. I like that. There's some good ones on here. See, I love it when everybody opens up and starts sharing. We have some really, really cool ones, and I hope that I'm not just getting something out of this, but maybe all of you are too. You are not the result of what has happened to you. Oh, that's powerful. Not the result of what has happened to you. Anyone else want to share? What's the moral of the story? What's your takeaway from this? 1 or 2 more minutes, then I gotta run. What's the moral of the story? We're good? So, I hope you all have found value in this. If you'd like to share after this is over, after we end this video, please go ahead and keep sharing it. I love to hear and I love to read what everybody comes up with. And I always go back and reread the comments several times, and there's some amazing insights that come from it. What I find fascinating is sometimes when we rewatch videos like this, or we reread stories multiple times or re-listen to them multiple times, sometimes we take away a different meaning or we find something else within it that we may not have seen before. So I invite all of you to do that the same. If the story touched you, if you felt something in it that inspired you or connected with you, rewatch this again. Fast forward to where the actual story takes place and see if there's something else in